Well, good morning, everyone. This is going to be, and if you're watching this on the YouTube, this is one amazing highlight of a couple from a small little bitty town in the panhandle of Florida that got started in something. They weren't even really sure what they started in, but once they began to get a little traction, set some goals to change the whole trajectory of their life, not only their life, but their kids' life. And the journey began, like it does for so many of us, with Ashley Antley seeing a friend of hers post a box of drops on social media. She bought a box, then began to sell some boxes, and made somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,000 with us in her first 90 days, just in retail sales. Not even know she was in network marketing. And then her husband, not necessarily a negative Nelly, but what definitely wasn't on board yet. About 90 days in, after she showed him how real it was, got involved in the business building side, and they've just become a power couple. I think they've got over 5,000 people on their team now in 2 years. They have built a full time income, and we're actually going to be interviewing them from Costa Rica today. So, that being said, Reese and Ashley, I'm just going to turn it to you guys. Y'all just share your whole story. We're also proud of you, but we may at the end ask you a couple of questions.
All right. I'm going to let Ashley take it away since she is the one that started this thing. I know I talk a lot, but I'll let Ashley take it away.
Yeah, so I just saw a friend posting about these skinny drops, and I had no clue this was tied to a business. I had zero clue about anything. I had zero clue even what the drops were called. I just knew she was taking them, she was dropping pounds, and I had just turned 40 and I had about 15 stubborn pounds. So I was like, what the heck? I will take these drops and try it. I started the drops and I was blown away. I mean, I felt incredible. I dropped 15 pounds very quickly. And then I was like, I'm not having night sweats. And I was having those every night. I was having hot flashes. So then I started thinking, okay, there's something to this. Like, it's not just skinny drops, there's something to this whole system. And so I quickly learned that the drops balance your entire body from head to toe. I was feeling incredible. And I told him at that point, he was 65 pounds overweight. And I said, you've got to try these drops. If these drops work for you, because he ate so much crap and junk food and sodas, I said, if these drops work for you, this is our ticket. Like, this is our golden ticket. This is it. So I'll pass it over to
Yeah,
him.
and so I definitely was the reluctant. You can say I was negative, Todd, because I definitely was. I told her not to spend too much money, that she was dealing in snake oil, all that good stuff, But I ended up taking the drops, and I lost. I was close to 300 pounds, and I lost 65 pounds in 9 months, and that was 2 years ago, over 2 years ago now. But when she brought the business into our life, that I'm a business guy, executive in a seafood company for the past 16 years. We both made good money, but we have 5 kids, live in Florida. All of our 5 kids pretty much live in different areas, so we're always traveling around. We've got our 10-year-old that's always with us. She's downstairs right now doing school. And, I'll never forget meeting, when I saw what Ashley was making, and I was like, okay, I want to meet this guy, Todd Rowland, who was mentoring Ashley at the time. And Todd came over and he showed us the compensation plan. We started building a relationship. I'll never forget him kind of saying, there was several things he said. One was, you can have a global virtual franchise. And I kind of made fun of that and said, okay, whatever, we can. But guys, we can be in 50 something countries. And now, just because of, not because of who we knew, but because of who we knew, who knew somebody who knew somebody, our team is in over 28 countries. We were talking Chris and Joni yesterday, and we were trying to figure out how many other countries that we are in, even that aren't even official, because we can still work from anywhere. Costa Rica is not even an official country.
Yeah, and we're here visiting. We don't live here. I just wanted to clarify that to everybody. We're
Maybe,
visiting, but just the fact that we can, pick up and come to a different country for 2 weeks. We've got our daughter, she can homeschool. This business has just allowed us that flexibility where nothing else could do that. I mean, I can't think of anything else that could do what this specific business has.
yes. So for the journey, when Todd told me that we could be in these countries, whatever, okay, and now we're in this, then he laid out, hey, you can replace your income. You can have a retirement here. And that was something that I never thought I was going to have. I mean,
It just doesn't seem possible. Like,
yeah.
when you hear that, it's like, okay, I could get a couple $100, but like, it truly has replaced our full-time income.
Yeah, it was, retirement side. I was 65, I would look at my retirement and it would say, if you're 65 and you retired at the rate that you're putting into your retirement, you're going to have 2 years worth of income. And I was putting a lot of money into retirement. So I never thought I would be able to retire until this. And then also, Todd, I'll never forget, said, you're going to
Change.
meet.
Before you go to the next one, I got to
Yeah.
ask Ashley something because a
Yes.
lot of people are going to be in Ashley's shoes, but we did a Super Saturday together early on somewhere in the Panhandle for Jennifer Braden. And Ashley and you had to leave the Super Saturday and so she could go do catering. So at that particular time, Ashley really had three jobs. She was the MRI tech, she was something else, and I just know she did catering. And like I
I did
said, Ashley, that is so
transcription. Yeah.
dumb. Why are you going and spending your time catering? And like I was like, you're building residual income now. You don't have to trade time for money anymore. So share what
Yeah.
was going on in your head that day, Ashley, because I don't even think you took that too kindly.
Well, I was literally spread so thin. I mean, we've got 5 kids, they're spread out everywhere. So just the mental load that you have as a parent and as a mom, I'll speak to all the ladies here. It's it's exhausting. So I was just exhausted mentally, emotionally. And then, I mean, I'm a hustler. Like I love to travel. I've always said, like, I will eat PB&Js and drink water, but I'm going to travel this world. Like I have just been hell bent on that. So I had all these little jobs. I was doing transcription on the side. I had a friend that had a catering business, so I would help her do catering stuff. And I mean, it was long, hard hours, but I was like, I'll do it because I want this extra because that extra was our travel funds. And so I never wanted to not be able to travel. So I would always do this extra stuff. And when Todd said that day, I was like, I was kind of pissed because I was like, look, dude, like I'm working here, you know. But then when I really stopped and thought about what he said, you know, all the time that I was putting into all that, had I put that into Partner Co. And even now, when I think about, you know, what we're earning every week, it's crazy. So all of that time and all of that effort, if that had been put into Partner Co, I could have even done better than we're doing now. So now I only work PRN at the hospital. So only when they're short staffed, I'll pick up a shift here or there. But like I'm in Costa Rica for 2 weeks, so I don't have to do that because I know I can count on our Partner Co paychecks every Friday. So thank you, Todd.
Yeah, and just one thing to throw out there for people that are hearing what she's saying, it's really hard to do because she knew if she went and did catering that day, she was trading X amount of hours for X amount of dollars. It's tangible, it's real. There's no belief needed. It's going to happen. Where I was telling her to go put time into something that wasn't paying her that instant income that day. So she had that's up. We all have to process through that from the what
But
we're used
that
to what we
that
want to do.
that payoff is so much bigger now because I did that. So now I'm like, okay, now that makes sense, but it takes a little bit of time and it takes consistency. I'm always preaching to our kids, anything in life worth anything is consistency. You just have to keep at it.
Yeah, and I mean, the mindset shift that we have to have, that most people have to have, we've been taught. You go to college, or you go to school, you go to college, you go into debt for college, you get a job, pay off your debt, and I mean, and then you trade time for money, time for money, time for money. That's what we basically how we're taught. But there is a much better way apparently to do this, and we're just learning that. But Todd, you line that out as I mean, I'm getting ready to retire fully. Like I moved into a consulting role so that I could travel instead of working 70 hours a week because of this company, because of the people that on our team that have come along. I mean, we have so many great leaders on the team, and I'll never forget, Todd. And this is it's a mindset thing, getting with people that are like-minded. One of my favorite things about this, one of the reasons we're in Costa Rica is, are the friendships and the family that we built. When our house burnt down in October, who was there to take care of us? Who was there to support us? It was the people in this company. It was the people that they were there for us every step of the way. Also, the community in this just builds your belief in yourself, and you really need that when you're shifting that mindset from coming out of corporate or whatever the normal trade to this. But Todd, you said your best friends will come into this business or will be from this business. And I was like, whatever. And then Todd and I consider Todd one of my best friends now. I mean, we don't get to talk a lot now and because we're both doing different things and things like that. And then you meet people like Chris and Joni Budd. That's one of the reasons we're down here. We were actually going to do the call with Chris and Joni this morning, but Sophie Kate our daughter had a test that she couldn't be mobile with, so she had to take that test. But we were
Had
going
the best time with Chris and Joni down here. It's been amazing.
but I'll never, I wanted to talk about one thing that I kind of struggled with in the beginning, and it was, all right, we are believers, and we always will. We want to put God and glorify God first and foremost in our business. But I kind of always struggled with the thought of, can you can you make money and have money and do things like that and still be in line with God because of some of the things you talk, because so many people are negative to that. I just want to say something. Joni Budd said this, and she can comment on this. Y'all want to throw her up, but she was like, money doesn't change you. Money just magnifies who you are. And
Tell
that
Chris
was
and Joni up, Sheriff. They're here.
Well, and we have had the privilege since we have started doing Partner Co. We have chosen to, when we get our Partner Co paychecks on Fridays, to choose somebody to bless, whether it's somebody from our small town, or we hear about a person that their house is burned down or whatever. We choose to take a portion of that and bless somebody, because we want to be a blessing, like this company has been a blessing to us.
because when much is given, much is required. And so that is what we've kind of taken into our new. But I was telling Todd and them when we got on, like, I saw a side of Chris last night that was just blew my mind. And that's what really, like, being able to be able to do this and bless other people. We ate
It's all about.
We ate dinner with Chris and Joni last night, and we're walking out, and we were talking about, hey, there's this homeless guy that came up to us and whatever, and we kind of went away, and Chris is like, oh, that's Ivy, and started telling us his story. But when we were walking out of there was probably 4 or 5 guys out there that were hustling out there, making different things, trying to sell, just trying to make it. And Chris knew every single one of them. He goes up to them, he gives them high fives, big hugs, handing them food, handing them this, loving on them. Joni, I mean, they knew their kids. And it was like, and that's when it hit me, Joni. I don't know. It was just one of those things that was like, it magnifies the person that you are. And I'm like, that's why that's so, God wants to bless us, and God wants to use this. So don't get caught in that. And I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but I did, because I know I struggle with that as a Christian coming into this and what I've been taught in the past.
But it's how you're using what God is blessing you with.
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen over and over. When you use it to bless others, God will continue to bless you.
And then our best friend, I mean, we're making our best friends here. Here's Chris and Joni right here, but I just wanted
We're supposed to be at the pool, but those plans got
and
kind of screwed up. So
we
we'll
woke
guys
Tony
when
up
you
for
can-
that. We woke Tony up for that.
Reese, you guys remember that pizza that we didn't eat yesterday?
Yeah.
We went home, we
Yeah.
grabbed that pizza, and we found 6 people that were hungry last night, and they all shared it.
So there's a reason we didn't eat it. See, that's awesome. I love that.
So you have to set an alarm in Costa Rica to get up for go to the pool. Is that the life we're living now? Okay. Just making sure I caught that right.
Actually, no, Todd, we don't own an alarm. My kids are like, what's that?
But it's just amazing that the friendships that have been brought into this. It's amazing that the life that you can lead. I mean, and just be a blessing to others, and that's what we want to do. And we definitely want to be able to travel. But I mean, when you're locked down and think about the average person in the United States, in Canada, they work all year long. They work 51 weeks a year to take a week vacation. They work 40, 60 hours a week to have 16 hours of Sunday and Saturday to enjoy, that time. And a lot of those don't even get that, So how much time are we spending when this life is so short? And when we have an opportunity to not only better our lives and better ourselves, but to help other, and the way this company is set up to you pour into people, like when we started with Chris and Joni, and then what they're doing now and how that affects us. I mean, it financially, and then how, Christy Walsh and Carol and Krista and all these different people that you just help. And I learned that by watching Todd, the next person, you just pour into people, and you just spend time pouring into people, giving people belief in themselves and helping them. What happens is that affects them, that gives them a better life, but it comes up to you as well. So the company is set up just to reward helping other people, and that just blows my mind, because we have a heart for
I've
that.
how
Oh, go ahead, Todd.
Okay. Oh, you go ahead, Ashley. I just got two questions, but go ahead, Ashley, like you had something.
stuff is so expensive. Like just talking about when I was a single parent and just going to the grocery store and I would literally have, $60. And so I'm like adding up everything in the cart and praying that when I get up to that to that checkout that it's under $60 and it'd be like $58 and some change. And I'm like, whew, you know, and now it's not like that. And it's not about the money. It's just about that freedom and that
Freedom.
you can
Freedom.
breathe. I mean, for anybody that has felt just what I said about having $60 and you're at the checkout, or you're trying to put gas in your tank and you have to go borrow $20 from your friend just to take your kids to school. I mean, that's real life for a lot of people. And it's when you don't have that, talk about freedom and you can breathe. And so that's what this company has done for us and for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I've got these are the two questions I've got. This business creates tremendous freedom, and this is for both y'all can chime in. And I try to never be anything political in business, but Joni and Chris, because of their network marketing, they were able to leave the political environment because they didn't want it to get the jab, and they didn't want their kids getting the jab back in the COVID year. So they just picked up and moved to Costa Rica to escape what was going on in their country. And doesn't mean anybody was wrong that did it. Like, I'm not in that conversation today, but they didn't want it personally. And I'm a belief that personal choice. That's what I believe. Whatever your personal choice is, it's yours. But they had the financial wherewithal to do that. Most people don't. They're stuck. They have to show up at work the next day. The hospital mandates, they all got to get the vaccine, then everybody's got to get it because they've got no choices in life. This is about creating choices in life, but it still requires, and this is the question, it still requires discipline. People think I work hard. I really don't. I probably never work more than 3 or 4 hours in any given day. And who knows where I'm going to wake up today. I woke up in Pigeon Forge on my way to some meetings in Memphis. Always beautiful everywhere, but you guys are in Costa Rica, so that's the benefit. But I want y'all to both talk about the discipline of working that 3 or 4 hours still. I think you just told me this morning before we started that you've done more Zooms this week in Costa Rica than you even do when you're at home.
Yeah. Chris, Joni, you want to start? Or it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, so I have. I mean, it did. I mean, anything in life, as Ashley said, takes consistency. It takes discipline. There's no doubt about it. You still have to work. Chris and Joni live the life down here, but they work their butts off. Like they work their butts off. We talk about being couples. Like, how do you even balance that? You just have to do it. You just have to incorporate it into your life. And there is nothing better than this business, this company, that you can incorporate into your life. You can do it from anywhere, literally sitting in Costa Rica, John Oakey and them at the gym or in Maui or what. I mean, you just see this, it's just that freedom of that side. But yeah, it takes that discipline. You have to get up and you have to do it. You're going to have the bad days. You're going to have the up and downs. Joni and Chris were like, we don't know about those downs yesterday. You're like, what are you talking about, the downs? And
Yeah, so I don't think they're probably the best people to
it was funny.
some downs.
So literally, I put my stuff on a graph, Todd, and you know how. And I was telling Joni about this yesterday. Like, I can look at our trend line or matching check. I can literally see when Chris and Joni entered the business and when they moved out a new volume bonus. I can literally see when Bob Budd entered the business, when Christy Walsh entered the business. I can see when our pay line finally hit somebody 8 generations deep. Things like that. I can see that all on the graph. But that is studying it every day. That's studying the striking distance every day. That's Ashley having to do the background of a lot of stuff at home that I don't get, that I don't have time to do.
Yeah, that's the part that I was going to say is as a couple, like there's a learning curve here and there's a lot of juggling. I mean, we got a lot of moving parts. So there's sometimes, I've had to back up and he kind of takes the front seat and I've had to do all the kid stuff and all the home stuff because both people can't be completely 24/7 when you've got kids and you got a home. And so that's probably been our biggest struggle is just that learning curve. And I mean, I can't come on here and say, oh, it's perfect all the time because there's definitely some times where we're juggling, but it all works out in the end. It's a business and it all balances out in the end. And it's just been incredible.
The backside is worth it. Joni, Chris, you want to add anything?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to talk, and I just have noticing that my battery is low here, so we're gonna have to plug in. But you guys are reminding me of my very first personal development event I went to, T. Harvacker, and he said something that just changed my mindset forever. Sorry. Because we're talking about money and the concept of, am I deserving of money? Will money change me? Will people think differently of me if I make a lot of money? And after the seminar, I realized that, yeah, money just gives you the ability to help more people. But in that seminar, I didn't just talk about what money can do for other people. Like basically he said, how can you help anybody else if you can't take care of yourself? And that's what really hit me. Like, if you can't pay your own bills, if you're not debt free, then how are you going to help other people? And so that really spoke to me, like, wow, it's true. Like, we need to get our finances in order so that we can truly help other people financially, right? But then he also talked about the concept of linear income versus the type of income that we earn, which is compounding income, residual income, money that you get based on what you started. And we happened to be in our very first business. And both those concepts came together to me like an epiphany, like, wow, it's my job to go be as successful as possible. The Bible talks about being the best that you can be at what you do. And and it kind of took away that fear, I guess, of maybe what people think of me if I tried to make a lot of money. It took away the doubt that I had of my own ability. And I realized it's not about me. It's about what God can do through me so that I can go out and change lives. And then through the networking industry over my years, I've realized that so many people struggle, we all have highs and lows, but I remember in our lows feeling like it wasn't common. But through network marketing, I realized it's very common for people to struggle, to not be able to pay bills, to be in situations where they can't help people, to not be able to go on that vacation. Actually, it was just a few Christmases ago that I was reading this thread on Instagram, and all these women were talking about how they couldn't have Christmas this year. And I know that's not what Christmas is all about, but of course we want to bless our children and we want to give. But they were talking about how they didn't know how they were going to be able to do it. And thousands of people were chiming in on this chat saying, oh, I'm making hand-me-downs this year, or we're just going to spend time together, or it's just not that important. And it went on and on and on. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, we need to get out of our comfort zone, stop being so afraid of what people might think, and just share what we have, because we have a gift that everybody needs. And in my experience, this is the easiest business I have ever built. We have a product that everybody needs, that works, that sold over 1 million bottles. We have a system that will sell it for them, which I've never seen before. It literally brings customers and brand partners to us. And we have the best pay plan that you could possibly see. There's no other pay plan that pays like this one. And we're experiencing it here, living in Costa Rica every Friday. You guys, we're both just celebrating down here with Reese and Ashley. It's amazing to just be so blessed to have these consistent checks coming week after week after week, and to be able to share that with so many people. Like, this truly is a blessing, guys. So my advice is just make a decision to do some things. And that's where these events come in, PXP. You go to PXP and you decide what you want. That's another thing that we learned in personal development, is it's all about decision. And the problem with most people is they don't know what they want. They just keep doing what they're doing. It's habits, right? It's all about habits. So you got to make a decision what you want to accomplish in this, what you really want to do with your life, what you want to do in your business, how much money you want to make. And that coincides with your promotion level. So decide, I want to be an officer. I want to be a senior officer. I want to be a CEO, right? And then figure out how to do it, exactly how much money you're going to make doing it, and go change the world.
Wow.
Wow, mic drop.
Go, Jonathan. But
See if Chris wants to say anything.
he's so quiet.
She answered the only other question I had for you guys as we end this up. She mentioned right out of the chute about the T. Harv Eker event she went to. But that's what I wanted y'all to talk about is how did you become you now? Like Chris and Joni, I've heard them tell their story. Theirs is older, but they were in corporate America. Like they weren't born to do network marketing. And then Reese, you were actually anti-network marketing just a little over 2 years ago. And here you are spreading the word around the world. So like, what events, what things have y'all plugged into that began to grow your mind and help you understand the power of leverage, residual income, traveling the world, compounding efforts, all the things it really takes to create wealth?
Chris, go ahead.
You want to know where to go with that?
What events we plugged into, personal development?
What can people start doing today to grow their mind, to make it like yours?
It's funny.
So many people come from a place of fear. They do everything from a place of fear. They operate from fear rather than from faith. And so for us, it really begins with our faith. Even when we were broke, I never had a day where I doubted. Literally, I knew that God had a plan. I knew that this was the vehicle that could do it, and this was the team that could get it done, and that we're already getting it done. And so I'm able to just be happy. It's amazing what being happy and joyful and grateful can do for your business. People get up in the morning and they're disappointed when they look at their bank account, or they look at their downline report, or they look at their volume report. Don't do that. Realize where you're going. Think about, what the future will be like. Start dreaming again, and then be happy that those things are on their way to you.
So a lot of our belief changed when we went to the T. Harv Eker seminar. And it's funny that you mentioned what seminars people can go to, because I just realized that he's now doing that seminar live online. It was a weekend seminar, a three-day seminar. And it was huge for our belief, for our business, our mindset. And there's a lot of great books out there, a lot of so many people. Jim Rohn is incredible. Bob Proctor was very instrumental in our understanding of your thoughts, because your thoughts, I was going to talk on stage about this actually, but your thoughts create everything that you have in your life. Your thoughts produce your feelings create your actions produce your results. Everything stems from what you think about. And so that's why I think that T. Harv Eker event was so impactful for me, because I had a lot of people. I talk about how easy this is, but I guess I've been in the industry a long time, so I'm used to people. To me, it's like serving a cup of coffee. If they want some, great. If they don't want it, too bad, go to the next one. Same thing with our business. If they want some skinny drops, great. If they don't want it, whatever, right? So I don't really get offended anymore, but I already went through that personal experience when my family were really hard on me when I started network marketing. Like, they were really hard on us. They didn't want to see us. They didn't want to hear about it. They didn't want to have anything to do with it. In fact, when we won an all expense paid trip to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, we were 21 and 22 years old. They never said a word when we came back. I actually called them and left a voice message because I was so excited when we were down there. We found out that we qualified for this extra bonus check, which was a $10,000 check. So in total that month, we had made like $26,300. Was that the number? $26,300 that month, which was as much money as I had made the whole year before working as a secretary for a production accountant company. Like, really, I was only 21. We didn't have big annual incomes yet, but it was big money. That's a big paycheck, right? $26,300. So I called my family. I'm just like, oh my gosh, we qualified for this bonus, and we're down here on this all expense paid trip. We're so excited. And they never even acknowledged that I made that phone call, right? And then when we bought our first new car, my aunt was like, why'd you do that? What was wrong with your old car? So people were really hard on us. They didn't want to hear about our business. My uncle told me it was a pyramid. I'm sure you got snake oil, right? That kind of talk. It was all just not worth doing. It was going to fall apart on us, and we were going to regret it. And that fueled my fire. That really fueled my fire. And I was going to prove them wrong. It's funny because Bob Proctor says you don't do it in spite or in envy, because that nothing will grow from that. But it did. But the personal development made me understand that, and especially with this business, it's not about the people that don't want it. It's about the people that are looking and searching for an answer to their prayers with their health and with their finances. And we have to be mentally tough to get past those naysayers so that we can help the people that really need it, right? And it was just like the movie we were watching last night. We watched the David movie where David fights the giant Goliath. And David had so much faith. And everybody was telling him, you can't do this. Don't do this. You're going to die. I don't want to see you ripped to shreds. Like, you're crazy. You can't fight Goliath. Look at the size of him. And they mocked him, even laughed at him for fighting him. But David had this faith, and he grabbed that stone and he ran, and he said that it is not me. And that's the difference between you and me, he said to his brother. The difference between you and me is that I know that my God is going to help me. What were the words he used?
That sums it up.
That sums it up. But he proclaimed that it was not through him, right? And his faith, he took that stone and took Goliath down. We all know the story. But anyway, like, it just hit me, and I'm like, you know what? It's about mindset. And that's why these personal development seminars, the PXPs, are so important, because you've got to get past your own baggage so that you can win. Set some big goals and do some big things.
And so I'll tag to that, the mindset thing, because that has been what I've struggled with. That's where I've been reading books. I spoke about it in Canada, and really focused on that, the neural pathways and those thoughts, what Joni was saying. You have to create that. You have to get out of that negative mindset, because what you think is what you're going to do. So if you ask what we're doing, what events are we plugging into, it's about changing the mindset. That's why we plug into the events. So when we plugged in to PXP the first time, it is being around other people that have the mindset that you want.
You don't get it until you're there physically. Like, you can see all the videos, you can see all the clips, but until you're there and you really feel it and experience it, it's a whole different level.
I want the mindset of what Chris Budd has. I want the mindset of what Todd Rowland has. I want the mindset of what Brent Palmer has. So what do? We go to the places they are. I want the mindset of these people that are losing all this weight. So what do? We go to the drop talks. You get on the Zooms, you plug in with the people that have the mindset that you need, that you want, that have that direction, and your mind will start to change. You will see what they're doing. And I mean, Chris, we sponsored Chris and Joni coming in, and we learned so much from them. So you can learn cross line, down line. It doesn't matter. Just plug into the people, and plug into every event that you can. Your business, as Todd said, I'm just going to give a plug on PXP. Your business will grow after PXP. There's no doubt about it. September is going to be the biggest month of this company's history. I feel that now, knowing, some of the stuff that's coming. I really feel like that. If you can get people to PXP, I mean, Ken Bailey says it. You get one person, it's like 100x in your business every single time. Each person you can get to PXP. And we saw that from the original I didn't want to go to PXP the first time. In fact, Ashley was going by herself. And finally I said, well, I'll go. And it changed my thing. Like, now it's like, I don't miss events. I want to be at every event, because I want to be plugged in with the people that are like-minded. I want to be plugged in with the people that I want to be like, that I want to emulate, that I want to have this, just, I want to pour into people and give them the belief that Todd Rowland gave the belief to me that I never had. Like that is what I want to be able to do. I want to be able, so you have to be around those people. Sorry, I know that's long-winded, Todd. I know this was very long, and sorry about that, but go ahead, Ashley.
One of the best ones I've ever seen. Everybody's going to love this. So thank you, Sarah, for recording this.
I think Ashley's got one more thing to say.
Okay, guys, Ashley, I'm sorry.
We tell our kids all the time, and we've seen from some of them that it didn't pan out very well because they didn't listen, right? But it's who you surround yourself with. You will become like who you surround yourself with. And our son, that's 21, he's had some struggles. He's doing great now, praise the Lord. But he has said recently, you were right, Mom. I surrounded myself with those people, with the wrong people. I got caught in the wrong crowd. I did the wrong stuff. And it led him down a really bad path for several years. Praise the Lord. He's out of that now and he's doing better. But I mean, it's such truth. It's who you surround yourself with. That's who you're going to become like. So plug into the Zooms, get on the calls, get on these calls every day, get to the events. It's who you surround yourself with is who you're going to become like.
If you want to be like Chris Budd, get on a plane, come see how he lives in the pool.
Hang out with Chris in the pool in Costa Rica. It's amazing.
What time are you guys coming over?
Soon.
Y'all are making all the rest of us really jealous today. We got lots of FOMO out here. What are Chris and Joni and Reese and Ashley doing today with everybody's mind all day?
Chilling in the pool.
Chilling in the pool and making money and doing Zooms.
This is the best IPA ever.